We ask ourselves the question, how can international collaboration between universities be continuously improved, expanded, and designed to be long-lasting? We still encounter hurdles and problems in the design of international collaboration. Today, however, we want to show by means of an example, challenging, exciting, enriching why international student collaboration in virtual teams is worthwhile. But before we start, let me give you a brief introduction to the next 20 minutes, what you will hear from us. First of all, we would like to give you a short introduction to our project, the International Research Project, and the team to which our evaluation and results refer. Then we will show a short insight into previous research that was conducted before the start of our international collaboration. Afterwards, we'd like to give you insights into the direct evaluations in our course, insights into the students' experiences based on our learning journals. Here we start with the challenges and how to overcome them and follow up with why this kind of collaboration is still worthwhile. From these experiences, we have derived recommendations for action that we would like to share with you, and finally, we will offer a concluding prospect. But now let's have a look at our project and our team. These are the 5 universities and the respective teaching staff and organizational teams currently involved in the project. We have the Comenius University in Bratislava in Slovakia, the St. Cyril and Methodius University in North Macedonia in Skopje, the Nelson Mandela University in Port Elizabeth in South Africa, the Johannes Kepler University in Linz in Austria, and our university, the Magdeburg-Stender University of Applied Sciences. Based on a long teaching and learning cooperation between the JKU in Linz and the Magdeburg-Stender University of Applied Sciences, we extended the project to other universities last year, adapting it internationally and interculturally, and also expanding it technically and organizationally, especially at the digital level. The whole thing was funded by the IVEC program of the German Academic Exchange Service. And within this team that you can see here, we have expanded the whole course and are also currently in the second round of this constellation with new students. And for a better understanding of our course, I will show you an insight to our flow of the semester and tell you about the task and work phases of the project. So we are using a combination of virtual and non-virtual learning settings, and with this, the project enables cross-university exchange and the strengthening of students' digital and language skills. The seminar content was digitally prepared and enhanced with independent learning methods. And in this overview, you can see the division into digital and face-to-face appointments, and also the division into a few appointments with the entire course, in combination with the self-learning phases, and appointments for the respective groups alone, written here as consultations. Since the students come from partly very distant locations, there's also the hybrid participation option for the face-to-face dates, and due to the manageable numbers of course dates, the course can be ideally used for part-time students who work full-time during their studies. And at present, the course is mainly attended by part-time master students and PhD students. What might be interesting at this point is to point out our technical platforms that we use for the collaboration. It's mainly Zoom for the joint appointments and internal group work, as well as also the individual appointments with the teachers. Then we have a Moodle course that was expanded with digital and playful elements to encourage the students for their self-learning phases. And we use a Miro platform. It's an online whiteboard, if you haven't heard of that, which we like to work together with all students on. And it particularly proved ideal during the pandemic, and I can definitely recommend it for digital collaboration. I would also like to say a few words about the content of the research project. Over the course of a semester, the students work together in small teams to produce a paper based on their own research, which is then presented at our conference, the Cross Media Transform Business Conference in Magdeburg at the end of the semester, with the opportunity for publication of the best papers. And at the beginning of the semester, we therefore focus on a lot of team building so that the students can get to know each other well, despite the decentralization, so that they can also work well together in their team. Throughout the course, we offer students the opportunity to talk to the teachers of their choice in the monthly consultations about the current research status and to gain helpful tips from the teachers of their choice and for their work process. While conducting their research, they also have the opportunity to submit the interim paper status to always get feedback on that as well. And prior to the conference, all papers will be evaluated in a peer review process so that the students can get an insight into a real-world paper submission and the process of writing a scientific paper. Another important component are the reflections of the learning journals that I mentioned earlier, which you can see here in light green. Over the course of the semester, students have 3 opportunities to reflect on the interculturality, group dynamics, expectations, and challenges of the course. And these not only help the students for their self-reflection, but have also given us valuable insights into the internal work of the groups and the students' experience, which we would like to share some insight into today as well. With the help of the learning journals, we can not only look at how the work steps are received by the students and how the group work has developed over the course, but we can also draw conclusions for adjustment in the course. What is going well, what needs to be improved, and how can we further strengthen intercultural and international cooperation. Before we get to that, however, we would like to take another step back and give you some insights into the previous research.
Yes, and of course, before we switch to a more international level, we did a literature review, because from the beginning it was very clear that such a course format would arise several challenges or maybe even greater problems. We had more than 60 participants, students, instructors, professors, 5 universities with different structures and timetables, and 5 different countries. We were lucky that we were in one time zone, but of course we all had different cultural, cultural backgrounds. As you can imagine, there were a lot of traps we could step into. To cope with them, we made a literature review to find out where the main problems were. This review was presented by Professor Herzog on the ECEL conference last year. So we reviewed articles about virtual cross-country collaborations of student teams in higher educations, with a special focus on onboarding challenges in online and blended courses. As it turned out, the challenges lay mainly in the areas you can see here in the big buttons. Team and community building, for example, communication rules, group expectations, trust, a very important point. Understanding the course objectives, like purpose of intercultural virtual learning, has to be made transparent, and the students have to work to a final product. Then there were technological aspects, as you can imagine, especially the different levels of media competency of students and professors. Then we had the general facilitation, a learning management system for a particular course structure and a learning environment, and the teachers as equal partners in the learning community. And of course, we had the problem of group formation. The question was forming groups student-driven or driven by teachers, or maybe by an automated system. So, to face the detected challenges and propose solutions which were needed, we created the following resources. The gray bubbles refer to the challenges mentioned on the foil before. We started with a welcome meeting, which took place at the beginning of the course, naturally, and had a duration time of 1.5 hours. All teachers and course instructors were present and introduced themselves to the students. The students had the chance to present their own personal profile to their colleagues. The video of the course process was shown, and we pointed to the virtual student guide for intercultural teamwork, which is part of the Moodle course. Video of the course process, the virtual student guide of intercultural teamwork. This guide should have been used by the students at the beginning of each working session to help them getting to know each other. The Moodle course contained all important deadlines, a chat, consultation hours of the teachers, and so on. And then we had a questionnaire for topic wishes and team roles, because we had to do the matching. We did not use a student-driven matching because we had lots of German-speaking students which would like to stick with each other, and we wanted to have mixed groups with English-talking students. The learning journals had to be kept throughout the course with a reflection at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end of the course, as Amelie already mentioned. The students had to reflect on the course in general, on digital teamwork, and on learning in intercultural teams. And last but not least, we had some badges for progress to help them doing their work, staying motivated. Now it's your turn.
Right, so coming back to the learning journals, as I mentioned in the beginning, they really gave us some valuable insights into the students' experience. And the evaluations of these reflections have revealed several challenges that still exist, which I would like to point out in the following, in combination with recommendations for action that we derived from this. So the first challenge that emerged from the reflections was the perceived lack of transparency of the content and of knowledge for used technology. The students had problems with the content of the Moodle course, since some of them used different platforms in their own universities. Others were unsure of how to use the course in the self-study phase. And some students were unsure about the aim of the project in general and which meetings they actually have to join. There are questions that one would think should be clear to all students, especially after an introductory phase, but which should not be underestimated as an ongoing problem in the cooperation of so many different students. There's always something going down with someone, and since the course is decentralized online and most of the time, it is important to make sure that certain information is communicated clearly and sufficiently. Our recommendation for action for our own course and also other courses derived from the challenges are an extended pre-phase with a course instructor for a minimum of 1 week, where all problems can be fixed, all questions can be asked in a safe environment. Then what's really important is explaining the structure, content, and submissions. It sounds obvious, but every step should be explained in detail with reference to further information material. A test run with students could also be helpful. Students who do not know the course to check the user-friendliness and to be able to make adjustments if necessary. Another important point is the empowerment of students to use the course independently for the self-study phases, and an introduction to intercultural communication and teamwork. How do people interact with each other in the course? How is the teamwork organized, etc. And a last important point is that everyone has to join all meetings, if possible. For fair participation of all students, there should be no exceptions, excuse me, got it. And all instructors from different universities should agree on a uniform learning setting, if possible. The next challenge results from the difficulties in getting to know each other and communication among students. In our course, many students got the impression that not everyone had the same work ethics, and thus there was unfair division of work at the same time in the teams. In addition, there was a problem that many of our students from German-speaking countries took part, and so the students from the other cooperation partners sometimes got the impression that they were only among Germans and were partly ignored in terms of language. And a very important factor in getting to know each other is the worry that you won't get to know the others properly and won't dare to turn on your camera or make a spoken contribution in a large unknown group. So the recommendations we have derived from these challenges are as follows. Again, the extended preface with a course instructor. Here we found it especially important that a person who does not work as a teacher in the team interacts with the students, from which the second point can also arise immediately, to set up a safe space for the students to put on their cameras and talk with others. One way to stimulate this in particular are icebreaker activities, which are really important. The students change from passive listeners to active participants and get more comfortable with the group. And another important point are rules of communication. Sounds obvious again as well, but it should be explained that English only, even between German and mixed groups, is necessary. Other challenges the students' learning journals showed are the perceived lack of support and the perception that different universities also have different circumstances. Students report about the feeling that they cannot reach to the multitude of instructors and teachers, that they do not know who exactly to contact, and are not fully aware of how to use the consultation hours. In addition, they feel that other students seem to have different understanding of deadlines. The recommendations we have derived from these challenges are, on the one hand, that teachers should show more involvement in the online meetings, all teachers, since we had as you have seen in the beginning, very large group of teachers. And on the other, that they should increase communication about the course and the process before and even while the course is ongoing, to make all students feel part of the course and develop an equal understanding of the course, deadlines, etc.
Yeah, the students' learning journal not only contained challenges, this was the sad part, now we go to the good news, but showed very clearly why international collaboration is worthwhile. First of all, it's simply fun. That's the message we get from the learning journals. Working in intercultural teams with students from different countries has been seen as a real chance. The students enjoyed making acquaintance of students from other countries and getting connected with each other. Then secondly, we are a great team. No intercultural problems showed up. The teams worked well with each other and no one was left aside. The research method seminar, which was mentioned at the beginning, where students had to present their chosen research methods to the other participants, was informative and exciting. They liked it very much. They met each other in person, which was a very nice thing. Online meetings were very good organized. Students said the meetings were exciting and that they had a lot of fun while joining them. And we had great group dynamics. Teamwork was fine, agreements worked. All students were committed to their team and very engaged to deliver their share of work and to receive the final article in the end. And another important point was we can adapt. Team roles of Belbin were accepted by the students and shifted through the course if needed. And that was very nice for us to know. And last but not least, we have some recommendation for action. Most important, get connected. Personal contact is most important, not only between students in their groups, but also between course instructors and professors. It is important that teachers understand their role as a consultant of the student teams, accompanying them through the research process. Then secondly, fixed meetings must be created for students in Zoom during the course. Fixed appointments strengthen the feeling of belonging to a special group, and it strengthens the binding nature of agreements too. And the most important point, full commitment by all participants. As a student, you have to invest a lot of extra time and work to be part of the course. This is important to know for part-time students. Teamwork will take place in the evening and on weekends, so you have to prepare for that. Teachers have to communicate the requirements of the course clearly to the students and spend some effort on advertising the course at an early stage so that they all can join the pre-phase where they get the important information. The course should be offered as an elective course so that students only join when they are really committed. So what else can we share with you for your courses? You can see here the crossteaching.org website, and there you will find the material we created. I say in February. I thought January, but I think February is more convincing. So if you're interested, you can find the material there. We were funded by the IVEC program of the DAAD, and so we produced material we can share easily with you. And last but not least, thank you very much for your attention. For further information, do not hesitate to contact us. We will be pleased to get in touch with you. Thank you.